Talofa kia ora and welcome back to Fresh New Rugby. I know it's been a very long time, but man, I'm stoked to be back. How are you all doing, eh? Hey, thank you to everyone that's still subscribing. I don't even know why you're still subscribing when I haven't even done anything. But man, mad respect. Just thank you all for your support. There are a few people out there that are probably watching this. I know that you've encouraged me, and here I am, man. I'm back, ready to roll. There's been a lot of rugby happening recently. As you can see, I have my notebook. This is pretty new, trying something different. And so there's a game that my niece told me that I should react to. And so I went and watched the whole game. It's between South Africa versus Ireland, and it's the second game. So, you know, normally I would like to react to my favorite team, which is the All Blacks. But I was told that this was a really good game. So what I did was, went back and watched the whole game. And so I'm just giving, sort of like analyzed of what happened. And yeah, maybe you might have a different view of the game. As you all know, being as a coach, trying to analyze the top dogs and how they run their teams, and and at the end of the day, trying to implement it into my own team and see if it works or not. Obviously, different levels. We're nowhere near the top dogs, but if it's gonna work, it will work. Hey, so anyways, South Africa versus Ireland. One thing I wanted to make a massive note of was the atmosphere. And you probably see me say that in a lot of my videos, but the reason why I say that is because, man, here in Australia and also what I'm seeing back home in New Zealand, the crowd are dead ass. Like hardly anyone turns up, like especially in the Pacific Championship that just finished. And I mean, I get a little bit jealous when I watch league. Well, I do watch league. I do admit there's nothing wrong with watching league, and the atmosphere they have is way different compared to the support that we're getting in rugby. So all my rugby people out there, what's going on, man? We gotta keep the game alive. Even worse now here in where I'm at here in Melbourne. Obviously our team just got cut, the Rebels. So it was sad news, because I have kids that are playing, and they were looking that to be the pathway, but obviously, and hope that it'll come back in the future. So there's a lot of talent here in Melbourne. So for all the coaches that are probably watching this, if you are watching this from anywhere in Australia, please come and do recruit. We have a lot of talent here in Melbourne, and man, just really sad that we don't have a team or sort of pathway to take the young fellas to fulfill their dreams. But I'm pretty sure Rugby Australia is onto that. So anyways, the atmosphere there in South Africa, man, far out. It was massive. That's one thing I love about watching rugby, is seeing so many people that watches and loves the game that I love myself. So big ups to all the South African supporters out there, man. A mean game. Now, one of the takeaways that I really got from straight away watching the game was Istabeth. I think he was playing lock number 4. Bro, that fellow was shooting out of the gate. He was dangerous. He was playing that type of blitz defense. Obviously, with the blitz defense, high risk, high rewards. And there was a few times where he did cause troubles for Ireland, but then I think there were a few times as well where he got caught up, being offside, and his timing was a little bit off. But that's what blitz defense can do. It can put counter attack or defense or offense, under pressure. And so Istabeth was the man at that. Bro, he is a monster. If there's one player that I wish to meet in the future, man, Istabeth, my bro. I don't know if you ever get to see this, but I admire your work, man. And you're definitely one of the favorite players that I like to watch in the South African team. Okay. The way I saw that game versus South Africa and Ireland, fast paced, very fast game. South Africa is always known to be very aggressive. Their forward pack, man, straight up the middle. It's just free weight straight away. And so I didn't really see much difference between the body shapes of the teams. I thought they were pretty even. They look really fit. And I was a bit surprised with the South African pack, a little bit smaller these time arounds. But if you see them in the past, mate, oh my goodness, they're all monsters. But in saying that, although they looked a bit more, their physique look a little bit better now than it was in the past. What I mean a little bit better is like they look a lot fitter, like a lot cut up. That's what I mean by their physique. But they're still playing the same way, man. Bloody hell, I don't know. What are they eating over there? They're just so aggressive out of the gate. And so that was the defense that I saw South Africa used on Ireland. Now, one of the things that I picked up with the South African, with their defense, not only they were blitzing, but it was a 2-man tackle on defense. And that was very dominant. Obviously 2 versus 1, you don't need to be that educated to understand who's going to dominate that physical battle. And having 2 South Africans versus 1 Ireland, good luck. But however, you see Ireland, they knew how to break through those 2-man tackles. And over here, and a lot of times you will see it in rugby, they teach especially with a ball runner, if you're going to run straight, lean as if you're going to score a try. And that was one of the techniques that I saw the Ireland forwards used a lot. And so therefore, when they're leaning forward in that hit, it gives them sort of a little bit of advantage to break the advantage line, if that makes any sense. So yeah, I thought South Africa, man, aggressive as always. They were using a blitz defense, meaning they rushed the offense and put them under pressure. And so that was really good from Ireland. Now, obviously with blitz defense, if you're going to use a flat ball attack, I think you get caught a lot. And the shapes, I couldn't really tell the the game plan that the South Africans were using, but I could sort of picture what Ireland was doing. I think, if I could be wrong, they were playing, I think it was a form of a 1-3-3-1, but they were using a backline man, or it could be a 10 or whoever, to be in that diamond shape, if you know what I mean. So you have the 1, 2, 3, and then you have the backdoor option. Yeah, it's one of that's very popular these days. But what's so good about that is, if the defense is blitzing on you, especially on the runner that's receiving the ball, he then is able to just fire it straight back to the option man, to the backdoor man. And so that's sort of how I looked at it, how to deal with blitz defense, especially in Ireland. They did well in that. Yeah, they did really well. And one of the things that Ireland caught South Africa with was the short ball, or we call it a tip ball. So you have that diamond shape, right? And then the halfback or whoever it is that's passing the ball will pass it to the front man. And then he'll take it to the line. And then just before he gets tackled, he just tips it to either to his right or to his left. Mainly, if you watch this game, he would normally tip it to his outside man, yeah? And it worked pretty much every time, because it put although if you're blitzing, it put them under pressure, because now the defense doesn't know, do I take that short ball or is he going to do the back door? And so it's one of those decision making that if you're blitzing, you really got to think about, oh man, which man do I really take? But credit to Ireland, they did that really well. And that was the shape that they used, which I thought was really handy. The diamond shape. So the scrums, I thought it was pretty even. You know, when you watch these two teams, the way their setups in the scrums, I remember back in the days, like you would, I don't know. I remember back in the days we never used to be on your knees. Well, I was pretty much like a back player. I was, but looking at these days, their setup they have in the scrum, man, it just looks too mint. Like, I don't know, like way too professional for me, eh? Nah, but that's just my take on it. But it's just, you gotta be professional, you know. And if you go back and watch the scrum and how they set up, oh, bro. If any of you forwards, the young fellas out there that, you know, want to know how to set up during the scrums and things like that, man, take note from the professional players. And especially as myself as a coach, because, you know, obviously is my passion. Man, I look at how the scrums are dominating and things like that. So the setup that I saw was like the whole 6, 4, 5, 7. Man, not only they were just all aligned, but they're all on their knees. Back in the days, we never used to be on the knees. You know, you just go in there, get set. You know, obviously the calls and the scrums were different back then. Didn't have time to go on your knees, but these days you do. And so there's a massive difference, but yeah, it makes it look very professional, you know. And the weight, man, the weight in that scrum, oh, bro, it takes technique to be in the forwards, you know, and you can't be mucking around when you're in there. So if you want to be in that forward pack, in that 8, you better make sure you show up, because if you don't, you're gonna get dominated. So yeah, I thought that was pretty good from the scrums. The set pieces were pretty good, eh? You know, what did you guys see? The lineouts. Oh, that's something about the lineouts. I didn't really pay attention to the lineouts, but I'm pretty sure it was pretty even. Yeah. There was one time, man, and I wish that Faf de Klerk played a little bit longer, but I think he got injured. There was a switch play where it was a ruck in the middle of the ground. The reason why I love this play is because I'm definitely going to implement this as a coach. So it was a fast play. It was pod, and then Faf de Klerk did a short box kick over the top, just over the top, you know, and then you have the jet star, you know, Colby, you know, chasing that ball, and he almost got it. But what was so good about that is because the defense, even Ireland, when they were blitzing on their defense, they didn't expect it. But what was so good about that, it was just where the forwards were. You know, obviously as a forward back, you're making an attack when you're getting up and like, oh man, now I've got to chase that kick. But Faf de Klerk, man, one of the best in the world, eh? And to have Colby to chase that, he almost had it. You know, it was very smart, and I play with those guys. And I guess that's what combinations do. And spending enough time around each other, eh? Understanding how each other play. So, the way, what did I see of South Africa, the way they play? Like I said before, I couldn't really figure out the structure they were using. Maybe if you know what it is, hey, let the brother know. But my honest thoughts on that, I felt like, obviously everyone knows South Africa playing a kicking game, right? And yes, they did that, but there was just something different about them. The way I saw it, it was like they played that sort of Fijian flair, you know, like just offloading, you know, like they had that sort of trust that if they just hit the ground, pop it. You know, when I say flair, it's not fluke, because they obviously practice these things, but the way they make it, the way they do it, bro, it's just awesome to watch, man. You know, like, it's just one of those things that I admire about the way they played in this certain game. I thought they definitely put in that Fijian flair. But in saying Fijian, you know, South Africans made it their own, man. You know, it was beautiful to watch. It was like, you know, when you watch rugby and it's ongoing continuously, you know, and that's what we want to see. So that free flowing rugby, that's the one that I'm trying to get to. So I thought that was really good from the South Africans. What's next on there? What was the downfall of that? With that free flowing? Obviously, if you watch the Fijians as well, but all right, let's put them aside. Focus on the South Africans. All right, boom, switch. So, what was the downfall with the South Africans that I saw in that game was because they were using that free flowing game. When they hit the Rucks, they didn't have enough people to go over and protect the ball. Not only they wouldn't have enough, but more like in a sense, people were a bit slower, or pillars were a bit slower to get to guide the ball and to protect the ball. So quite frequently they will lose the rucks because the players, you know, obviously they're expecting offloads and they're running on the side. But then when you see your man hitting the ground, and you have to angle in and trying to go in for that pillar. But by then, because the person that had made the tackle had already been over on top. So I think that was the only danger about playing free-flowing rugby. But man, when it works, it works. It's beautiful to watch. I mean, we played this team. I'm not going to mention the name because I don't want to be a sore loser. But one of the awesome teams that are in our competition, Barry, and they have a lot of Fijians in that team. I remember they scored this mean-ass try, and it was just all popping up. You know, it was just hit the ground, pop the ball, and they just knew that they were going to be there. And it was the whole back line with Fijians. And man, just rugby, eh? You know, just as a coach, you got to admire that, you know, that sort of trust and the faith that players have in each other. And that's what I saw with the South African when they played that free-flowing rugby. One of the other things that I also picked up from Ireland, why they won that game, was they didn't muck around in their danger zone. You know, it was where South Africa will probably take 1, 2, 3 pods, you know, working in their 50s, and then they'll box it. Nah, not the Ireland. They'll hit that. If they're in their 22, they will take one crash and you will clear it. You watch it. And it's always safe like that, eh? And so, and then they'll just reset the defense line, and then they'll move up together. And then, but man, those 2 mean-ass drop kicks that won that game, bro, I can't remember the brother's name, but what a talent, eh? The fullback as well, the left leg kicker, bro, he can kick, man. Far out. He's a young fella too. You know, I remember the commentators were saying that he was young. So big ups to him, man. He's got a long way to go, his future in rugby, eh? And I think it was a good win for Ireland. And, you know, although South Africans came second, but man, I take my hat off to you guys, man. Both teams. I mean, it could have been anyone. Could have been anyone on the day. So, but, you know, obviously, I don't know what it is, but losing tight games hurts more than, well, this is what I think, hurts more than losing in a big margin. Because when you lose in those small margins, then you, as a coach, you start thinking, man, there were so many opportunities we had, you know. But regardless of that, the way I looked at that game was pretty much Andre Pollard versus Ireland. He was a gun. That's why you cannot give anything within the 50 meters penalties against South Africa, because, bro, that fella is a sniper. He is a sniper. Man, what a talent, eh? Far out. And that's why South Africa won the World Cup, man. Didn't muck around. So, but I see the South African team, you know, obviously with Ireland, young fellas, and by the time the World Cup comes around, they'll be very mature. By the time the World Cup comes around, hopefully, you know, the likes of the older boys that are still in the South African team will still be around. But I see there's a lot of teams now playing. They're just building, you know, just blooding the young fellas coming through and giving them experiences. But now, yeah, that was my intake about the game, South Africa versus Ireland. I mean, the rules of tackling, you know, below the sternum. Yeah, look, sometimes it's 50-50, eh? But even refs are not 100%. They're not perfect. But there's some tackles in there where you ask yourself, mate, bro, where's consistency in this? But I really enjoyed that game. I mean, for me, I loved it. So yeah, man, looking forward to share your thoughts on, you know, on the game, and what did you love, and what did you reckon that I missed out on? You know, what are the other things that you feel that I should try and analyze next time? Specifically with the South African game plan they had. Obviously, you know, they kicked a lot. But to me, I thought they were playing a free-flowing offload game, which it worked, you know. Put a lot of teams under pressure, well, especially Ireland. But then once again, Ireland came with that diamond shape that pretty much broke down that blitz defense. Is either be a tip ball to the side or using a backdoor option. So as a coach, that's something that I picked up, and especially as someone that likes to analyze games. Now, I think that's my niche that I'm trying to do now, is just analyze. But mostly because I want to gain the knowledge from it. So yeah, if I missed something out that you thought was important, man, hit the brother up. Comment down below. Yeah, you know how to help the brother out as well, eh? So I'm not going to tell you that. But thank you for watching. Okay then. Cheers. Thanks, guys. Blah.